You want to talk about it? I'd rather laugh about it. Let's get a little dark about it on the Traumedy Show.
Welcome to the Traumedy Show. I'm your co-host, Rachel Wilford.
And I'm your other co-host, Megan Wilford.
And today we have Alexa Norton with us. Welcome, Alexa.
Thanks. Yay! I found Alexa on Instagram through some of her content. She is content creator, influencer, mother, wife, friend.
All the things.
All
she
the
does
things.
it all.
Does it all. Specializing in grief and just like healing grief journey. I think I saw it was like finding light in grief and healing.
Yes.
And your bio also says that you are the like happy, sad friend.
Yes.
Which I loved. I think when I was kind of scrolling through, Instagram starts to feed, my algorithm is getting better of the kind of stuff that like really works well for our podcast. And I saw some of your content and I was like, this is perfect, because what's more traumedy than talking about the death of a loved one and like the grief and what that looks like, but then literally finding some joy and some humor. I think when I went on your website and saw that you had hats or mugs that say like Dead Dad Club or Dead Mom Club, or like
she was texting me about that this morning and I was like, she's perfect.
Absolutely. That's our vibe. So glad that you were willing to come on and share a little bit about your story, what you've been through, why you started Grief Shine. And yeah, we asked our listeners if they had any questions specifically for you, and we got some really good submissions.
Oh, that makes me excited and nervous.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. But it also is really sweet to see the questions, because I think this is just such a relatable topic, unfortunately.
Yes.
But it's something that like almost everyone has gone through. So it was sweet to see some people, just our listeners and friends, submit some questions that you can tell are kind of personal to them as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay,
Alexa,
I'll take it away.
Feel free to take it away.
Okay, so maybe I'll share. So I started Grief Shine in 2020. It was actually
Nothing happened in that year.
What? We had nothing to do. What?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was the third
5 years ago, which is crazy.
I know. It was the third anniversary actually of my dad passing. So he passed away in May. And I remember I looked at my husband. I was like, should I start this? This is kind of dumb. Like, this is weird. And he's like, just try it.
Yeah.
Because I wanted an outlet that wasn't my personal account. But I also wanted to show my friends and family, like, hey, hear me out. I'm not just okay still. Like, I know it's been 3 years, but like, this is a journey that I think is going to last forever. And I think that it's really allowed me the outlet. And it's also created a community that I didn't think I could create. And it's actually just been really healing for me. So yeah, I've really enjoyed it.
I already am like emotional. Wow.
So that's a little bit about
it's good for you.
My page. And I've just loved like meeting people and doing podcasts and friendship. And okay. So I'll start off with just sharing my whole story, trying not to leave out details and trying to help it make sense to listeners. May 3rd will be 8 years. So I also want to start by saying emotions are different, 8 years versus 1 year versus 2 years. So if people are listening to this, I remember listening to podcasts and I would be like, that girl sounds like she's totally fine. Like, how is she not sad? I hate this phrase. I hate it so much, but it makes perfect sense that time is very healing. Yeah. And it's crazy that I can talk about these things and not be an emotional wreck. And I think people can understand, like, when you're in that first year, you're like,
right.
But right now, so
totally.
We'll go back. So 2017. So, I'm from Utah. We live by the mountains. We go skiing all the time. I grew up in a family that goes skiing. My dad loves skiing. My mom loves skiing. We went skiing. So it was spring skiing and my dad went skiing that morning. And my dad was 54 years old. So I also have to give him credit that he is a very avid skier, like knows how to ski. So we'll start kind of there. I was at work. I was babysitting a family, nannying, and I got home from work.
How old were you at the time?
I was 22.
Okay.
Yeah, 22. And I got home from work. I live in a like cute, like small neighborhood.
22 in 2017. How old are you now?
30.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I did so much mental math in my head just now. And I was like, oh, I think she's like older than me. And I'm like, no, babe, you were also 22 in 2017.
Are we?
Yeah. No, I'm 31. I'm even
She
older.
just turned 31.
Well, I think I was turning 22. Yeah, I was 21, turning 22. Okay, so I was 21. Sorry.
Like, my brain was like, she's okay. She's like 35. And I'm like, oh my God, no, Megan. No, you are you're older. Sorry.
Are we 30?
Yeah, literally.
That was like, am I 30 years old?
I just had like a whole age crisis in the middle of your. Sorry.
No, you're good. So I was young, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And do you have siblings, Alexa?
Yes. So I'm the youngest.
Okay.
I have three older sisters.
Okay.
Well, I'm the baby of the family. That actually is a little insert right there. So
and you're close with your dad.
Yeah.
Did you grew up close with him?
Yeah, we grew pretty close. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I feel like we had a rocky relationship, but then the last year, right before he passed away, I feel like our relationship was getting so much better. He bugged me. Like, to be super frank, I feel like that's kind of normal. I wasn't bothered with him. Mm-hmm. But then I was getting really good. So I had just moved back from college and I was engaged. Mm-hmm. And so I was living at home actually at the time. Mm-hmm. So I got to my parents' house and my mom had just left and my dad went skiing early that morning and my mom was going up to meet him. And when I pulled into the driveway, there were these cops at my house, which, okay, when you see cops, it's very alarming. You're already on this defense, like, whoa,
of course.
What's going on?
Of course.
So
and at your house, no less.
At my house, I'm the only one there. And they're peeking over my back fence, which I was like, what is going on? So I pull up and I get out of the car and they come and talk to me. And they ask for my mom. And I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit sassy because my mom's name is Carla. And they said, is Carl here? And I was like, no one lives here by the name of Carl.
God.
I was like, you have the wrong house. And they're like, oh, sorry. Carla, is Carla here? I was like, no, she's not here. My mom's not home. So my mind is racing. I'm like, what is going on? Like, my mom is an angel. Why are the cops coming to get my mom? And then I realized, oh my gosh. So backstory, my dad just caused some problems sometimes. Bless his little heart. But I immediately thought my dad probably got into a fight with someone on the slopes, like punched someone out. But I think about it, it was very healing because I didn't think that he had died. Right. Does that make sense? Which that's what had happened. But I was like, oh my gosh, my dad probably punched his snowboarder because they cut him off and he was an avid skier. And now he has to go down and like do something. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. My dad's crazy.
So things like that had happened before where you guys would like get calls from people or
not crazy things, but just where I'm like,
but
you did
a little troublemaker. Yeah.
So they're like, oh, well, will you call your mom and see where she is? So I call my mom. My mom's driving up the canyon. I'm like, hey, Mom, the cops are here. They want to talk to you. My mom was like, okay. She's like, that's really strange. I'm like, yeah. And she's like, here, let me talk to them. So my mom gets on the phone. They tell my mom, hey, when you get up to Snowbird, which is where we were skiing, where we skied, go to such and such place. Can't remember. So she's like, okay, bye. Phone call ends. The cops leave. They can't tell me what's going on. I'm like, what's happening? And they're like, we can't disclose any information. I think it's because they needed my mom was the first that needed to find out the accident. So that's
probably like a notify the immediate spouse or something is probably also, like first step.
Why are cops the ones, they're not trained to deliver really bad news? Why? Poor cops have to be like, hey, sorry, this happened.
Yeah, what the heck, actually?
So that's also really, really weird to me. So
there should be like a specialist within
like a grieving counselor,
law enforcement to come.
Yeah. Okay. And tell you really bad news. So
Oh my gosh, seriously.
I kind of go about my day. I was in college at the time. I had like 2 finals to take. I take my finals. I'm just like waiting for my mom and dad to get home because I really didn't think anything crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm at home. So I'll kind of now tell the story from my mom's perspective, and then we'll go back to mine because I wasn't there to hear the news. So my mom goes up the canyon. My mom she meets these cops that are up there. They take her into this other room and they have to tell her, hey, ski patrol found your husband. He didn't make it. Like, boom. My mom's all alone. Like, can you imagine hearing that? You're just like, what? Like, yeah. What? Like, I was just supposed to meet my husband to ski. Like, yeah. And sometimes I think about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, my mom was just like by herself and is just finding out like the worst news and didn't tell any of us. She didn't tell me, obviously, till she got home. And we live 45 minutes away.
Yeah. I was literally just thinking that like the logistics of like, now I need to drive myself back home and like tell the rest of my family.
My husband's car is up here. Like, so many logistics, right? That you're like, what? And like my mom asked, like, wait, where is my husband? So apparently they had life flighted him. And my cute mom, this is my mom. She's like, oh. And Lex, I remember them telling me that. And I was like, I can't afford a life flight. Oh. Luckily, we never saw any bill. So that's really upsetting. Like, we never saw anything.
That's such a testament to how messed up healthcare is sometimes in our country, where like ambulance life flights, like things like that sometimes do end up, you see the bill for it.
Like, sorry, I actually didn't call for that. Like, yeah. Oh. So they sorted things out. They were like, we don't want you driving alone. And my mom's like, I don't want you driving with me. Like, I don't even know any of you. You're not coming in my. So the cops drove my dad's car and followed my mom in my dad's car.
And she had to drive down the mountain by herself, just processing.
Just heartbroken. And yeah, I just like always think about that. I'm like, wow, what? And I ask her all the time, I'm like, what was that like? And she's like, honestly, like, I don't even know how I got home.
Yeah.
Because
she just probably went into shock, I would think, or some sort of like.
For sure. And I think, 1,000%. So my mom gets home. I'm just at home doing who knows what. I'm like on the computer and taking my last final. And I was in our living room / kitchen, like in our back room. And I heard the front door open, but you can't see where I was sitting. I couldn't see immediately. They have to like walk down and then come into the kitchen. And so I was listening for my dad to make a big commotion and be like, that was crazy. Wasn't that wild? And it was so piercing silent. And before my mom like came around the corner, something in my heart was like, is my dad dead? Like, something bad has really happened, because I could just feel my mom's energy without even seeing her, which is hard to explain, but it's exactly what happened. And my mom came around.
Well, and you're used to like, the normalcy of them walking in and
hearing noise.
That, so that totally makes sense.
And so it was so quiet. And my mom came around the corner and she was by herself and we locked eyes. And I just seriously knew. I was like, well, no, where's dad? And she was like, he's gone. Like, he's gone. And I think it's crazy because I remember, like lost control of my body. I just fell onto the ground and started crying, obviously, because you're just so shocked with what's occurred, what's happening. And my mom was crying and we're embracing each other. And I remember thinking, like, keep it together. You gotta, like, help your mom, But I'm like, wait, I'm the baby of the family.
Yeah.
I can't do this by myself. Like, I look at my mom and I remember immediately being like, can we have I have 3 older sisters, like I said, can we call all of them? Like, what's the plan? Like, what are we going to do? Like, we had to like make a plan,
Were you the only one home at the time?
Yeah, because it was just a Wednesday at like 1 in the afternoon.
Right.
Like, everyone's at work. Everyone had full-time jobs. And so I was like, well, so we were trying to make a game plan. We're like, hey, should we call them and tell them to come to the house? Like, you need to tell them something. And my mom was like, I think I just need to call them and tell them. And so she did, which I think my sisters are grateful for, because if your mom calls you and is like, hey, can you come to the house on Wednesday at 1 p.m. I didn't tell you something, you're going to be like thinking something bad is up. So my mom had to call them and tell them. And I think that was also a really hard moment for me, because I had to listen to my mom do it. And then I had to hear every reaction on the phone.
Yeah.
And just wait for their, because I feel like for a second you're in this bubble of like, maybe this isn't our reality. Like maybe this didn't occur, and maybe this didn't happen. And if we don't talk about it, maybe it's not happening. But I had to listen to her tell every single one of my siblings. And that was really, I think, traumatizing for all of us. You know?
Of course.
Reliving that moment of finding out over and
over again 3 times. I was like, this is terrible. The good news is,
can we back up for a second? I think people are probably, and if I'm jumping the gun, tell me.
No, you're good.
I think people are probably wondering, listening to this right now, like, what happened to your dad skiing? Like, what happened?
Yeah.
I always forget to say that. Sorry that I'm laughing, but yeah.
It's okay. No.
That's a big thing.
I didn't think of it either. Good question.
Well, but it's hard, right? Because we had not even any idea yet either.
Exactly.
So I asked my mom, I'm like, Mom, wait, where is Dad? Like, where's his body? I don't understand what's going on. She's like, well, they told me they life flighted him to the hospital. And I was like, what? And so she said they were going to run some reports, like, and do an autopsy and get back to us, but it usually takes 24 hours. So
you don't even know.
We didn't even know. Like, honestly, now that you ask too, I don't even think I like grasped what happened, but I just imagined him falling and hurting himself somehow.
Yeah.
But I think we all had this idea. My dad suffered from a really bad neck injury years and years and years ago. He was T-boned. And so ever since then, he was always having really bad neck pain. And he had to have surgery, and it was just never getting better. So 24 hours later, we did find out that my dad was skiing, and he hit a tiny little slope or something, probably. That's what Ski Patrol told us. And it was enough that it just snapped his neck, and he died instantly. And like, he wasn't even going like crazy on this like crazy hill. It wasn't even anything crazy. It was just that his neck over time had been deteriorating like for so many years that it just was like simple little.
Alexa, I just got full body chills. That's insane.
Yeah, right.
That's insane. And that could have happened at any moment.
Yeah,
it wasn't even like he could have been in a car and like run something over and boom. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
it just happened to be on the mountain.
Like, avalanche, or he hit a tree or something like that.
Right.
You know? And my mom actually was able to talk to Ski Patrol, because the woman who was first on the scene we've actually like created a relationship with her. She's really sweet. She's like, just so you know, like, I am almost positive I got to him within a minute.
Yeah.
Or less than. Like, like, she's like, I was there quickly and he was already gone. Like, there was no reviving him or doing anything.
So
which
really
honestly gives me
totally instantaneous.
Yeah, which for me, it actually gives me a lot of peace of mind.
Of course.
Because my dad was a big adventurer, and I think any way to go, I hate to say, it's like, what a cool way to die. Like doing something that he loved. And it was really calming to know that he died in an instant, right? That it wasn't this long, like, painful death. It was very...
Yeah.
And it's really calming.
Best case scenario.
Like, it's really nice to know that he was by himself. Like, I would have hated if we would have had we did family ski days all the time.
Yeah.
So to have done a family ski day and that happened, it was really nice to know that he was just by himself.
That's so sad. Wow. But absolutely, like, comforting to also know that it was painless.
Yes.
And quick, and doing something you love. And like, even if he knew one day, like, because skiing is inherently dangerous. So's surfing, so's snowboarding, so's skydiving. Like, there's always like some sort of risk, but people always kind of like know that in the back of their mind. But they're like, but this is like what brings me so much joy. So it's my mom's and my sisters, we all lived within 15, 20 minutes of each other. So everyone was in our house
within like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And spouses were there too, which was really nice. I was engaged at the time. So my fiance, husband now, he was actually in Italy on a study abroad.
Oh.
I had to like call him, tell him that.
Yeah.
And I think, what you don't realize when bad things happen or hard things happen, grief, people die. I didn't realize like how many times you have to relive it. Hey, so my dad died. And they're like, so how?
Right.
I'm like, yeah, let me tell you.
And then you go on a podcast and you talk about it for an hour.
But like I said, 8 years later,
yeah,
one hour in, you're like not
totally.
Yeah.
That first like week, even the first few days, like where it's just like, overwhelming. Everyone's reaching out.
Yes. And I remember I was supposed to go on a hike with my husband's sister. I was like, hey, is there any way we could reschedule like something crazy out?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Totally. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, maybe next week. I'm like, because I didn't want to tell her, like, hey, my dad died. So
yeah, no, it's not a good time.
Should we rain check that hike? Is that okay?
Did you get out of any finals?
You know what? Unfortunately,
that's such a good excuse.
I had just taken my last final.
You didn't?
Ugh.
Like, so I was
dang it.
Can you imagine?
Maybe they would have just given you an A or something. Like
oh, sorry. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
My dad died, extra credit. Like,
is that okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone gathered at our house, which was really nice. And like I said, I think you're in this grief bubble for however long. So we're in this grief bubble having the most awful time and just trying to figure out like what are our next steps. The cops have to come in. They come in carrying my dad's skis and like his ski jacket, which is like,
that's
so
sad.
I know it was so
dramatic
awful.
And
then the poor guys, they're like, see ya, walk out. We're like, yeah, get out. And what I remember too is we were trying to decide like, who do we tell first? Who do you tell first? Yeah. When do you tell them? How do you tell them? And my brother-in-law came in the living room and was like, hey, I don't want to like cause any alarm, but we have our like local news, KSL, Salt Lake, whatever, Mill Creek. I live in a little town called Mill Creek, Utah. And he was like, so they just posted this thing that someone died. He was a Mill Creek resident and he died skiing at Snowbird today, which was obviously about my dad, which is so crazy how the news finds out these things. And I remember being so upset because it was like, man dies skiing at Snowbird. And it's like, hold on. Yeah. He's not just a man. He's like, was someone's dad. He was someone's husband. He was someone's friend. Do you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Wow. Like we really dehumanize people like so quickly. And it was really heartbreaking.
Totally. And they just turned his death into a headline and a very poorly written one. And like immediately you're like, I just found out 2 minutes ago. Can we
also, I'm like, how dare you post this? You don't even know how he died because we don't even know how he died.
Yeah.
So now there's all this speculation. And like I said, our neighborhood's pretty small. And so this cute guy in our neighborhood showed up at my front door and he's like, hey, I just saw this. Is this about your dad? But bless his heart, I start
probably
crying.
Saw the police officers and stuff.
Yes, because there's so many cars at my house all of a sudden. I start crying, and so he just hugs me, and he was so sweet. And he looks on our front porch, and there's a broom, and he just sweeps our whole driveway because he's like, I don't know how to help this family, but like I'll just sweep.
I gotta do something.
But right then is a perfect example of like you don't know how to help someone, so he just looked, and he's like, I guess I can sweep their driveway.
Yeah,
that's actually really sweet.
Act of service.
Yeah, it was really tender and so kind. Then I had to call my fiance and tell him.
Oh yeah, he was in Italy. Yeah.
And so he cut his study abroad short and came home because we made funeral plans and the funeral was, so he died on Wednesday and then we had his funeral on Monday, which is also really hard because you do it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then you have to make funeral arrangements. And then you have
not only are you in shock and grieving, you're like, okay, now there's all these like practical next steps that have to happen. And like, I'm still like struggling to even function as a human being right now. There are things that have to happen and I have to do. Yeah. It's hard.
And if you don't have anything set up, it makes it harder, which my cute dad did not. So we didn't know like did you want to be buried? Did you want to be cremated? Did you want this? So like there was no plan. And so we had to figure out everything on our own and decide like, this is what we think Dad would want. So my dad was cremated and there's no place of burial for him, for us. And we felt like that was the right thing to do. And we have really loved it because we still have a lot of his ashes and we still can take them places and scatter his ashes. So that's been a really beautiful thing for us. And I've really enjoyed part of a really hard thing that's happened to us.
So many questions swirling through my head. Thank you for sharing. I imagine even though it's 8 years later, it's still not easy and it still does bring some stuff up. So we appreciate you being willing to share that. And I guess like directly after, I've never had a close immediate family member die, but my ex-husband's father did die when I was like 25 or something. So when I think about like, that's my close experience I have to this. And I just kind of remember the funeral arrangements and the chaos and the grief and all of these things going on in the first week. And then immediately after when the family leaves and then it gets kind of quiet again. And then you're kind of like, now I need to go back to life, like back to real life. Like what was your mindset at the time? And like, did you take counseling? Did you like, how did you like in those first moments, first couple months afterward, like what were you doing?
Yeah. Okay. So I shared a bed with my mom because I was like, I can't be alone and she can't be alone. And other than that, you can't sleep that much. Even though that's like the one thing you need. And here's where it gets, you're going to be like, what? So my dad died in May and I was supposed to get married in July. And we still got married. Because so many people were like, oh my gosh, are you going to postpone your wedding? Like, what's your plan? And my husband, my fiance and I talked about it a lot. I'm like, what would we postpone for? I remember feeling that, like, what are we postponing for? Because my dad's not coming back.
Yeah.
Like, this is my reality now and this is my life. And I look back to answer your question, everything is so blurry, but I remember it all so much, because working was hard. Like I was nannying for a family and I was teaching kids how to swim. So I was a swim instructor and I think I quit my job after that because I was like, I physically can't do this. Like I can't show up and teach these kids how to swim. This is like my worst nightmare. And it's so crazy too that the bereavement and thing is just like really non-existent to help anyone that's lost someone that's so close to them. And so I think we're really close as a family. We always have been. But I feel like those first few months we were together 4 or 5 times a week. Like we were just always all together because you have to rely on each other. And we had visitors all the time. After the funeral, after everything's over, it kind of gets quiet. And that's when I think people stop checking in on you because they're like, oh, okay, they're good. I feel like though we had a lot of people that kept checking in on us, which was really nice. And I think now that I've experienced something like this, what people need is a check-in. They might not need a visit, but they need a check-in. They need to be reminded that you haven't forgotten because their whole world has just changed, right?
Yeah.
And you're living in this like understanding of what's going on. Well, you're like, why didn't that person die? Like that person's older. So you're experiencing something so hard. So I think people kept checking in on us. And I remember just thinking like, okay, this can't be forever. So I did go to counseling. I saw a therapist, which was really helpful. I did a lot of self-reflecting. I did a lot of journaling. I really listened to a lot of podcasts. I would just search dead dad. Like who has lost their dad? Because this is the only person I can relate to right now, which I think you want to find someone who's experienced your pain.
Right.
Because that's helpful.
It validates you. Yeah. Makes you feel less alone.
Yeah, you're less alone. I was on a walk one time in our neighborhood and our neighborhood's so sweet. And this woman in our neighborhood, she had 3 kids at the time. So, I mean, she's probably like 10, 15 years older than me. And she came up to me and she started talking to me. And she reminded me and told me that her mom died when she was 17. And I remember being like, okay, she's alive. Like right now, she's living a life and she's bought a house and she's gotten married and she has children. Like, and I remember that was really comforting to me. Just seeing people, I'm like, oh, because I felt like I wasn't going to make it. I really did. I was like, this is like going to ruin me. But when I saw people that had come out alive and they were still alive and they were living their life, I remember thinking, oh my gosh, okay, I can do that too. It might take a long time, but I'm going to get there.
There's like a lot of dialogue around people, especially if they haven't experienced grief like this, or they just don't know the right thing to say. And then sometimes I feel like they tend to not reach out. So I'm kind of curious, like, and I think this is even one of our questions we have from our listeners, but as a friend, as a support system, when someone has experienced something like this, what are some things that people said to you that you're like, I really wish that person didn't say that to me? Or like, what is one of the worst things someone might say that might grind your gears, or like, that was so insensitive? And then what would you suggest to someone who really just maybe doesn't have the words or doesn't know the right thing to say? Like, what would you recommend they say or do if they don't know? It's kind of a 2-part question.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Wow. We could do a whole show of this. Okay. So a couple of things that come to mind. One thing that happened to me was a lot of people got me the same gift, which was this like little claymation. It's so bad. Oh my gosh. It's so bad. Of a dad and daughter thing. It's like a Utah thing, I think. I don't even know what it's called. I got so many of these little figurine things, okay?
Yeah.
I wanted to
like,
return
great.
them.
Let me
drowning
I was like, I don't want any of these gifts at all. I think like it's not that counts. I went to return them. It didn't work out. The person was like, you can't return these. You don't have a receipt. And I was like, listen, my dad died. Like, can I just have like a store credit? You know? I was like, can I just have a store credit? Like, I'm not asking for money. I'm just asking for like a store credit. She's like, sorry, no. But like, I'm so sorry about your dad. Did you know he was going to die?
What?
I was like, did I know my dad was going to die? If I knew my dad was going to die, does that make it better? Like,
right.
What an inappropriate question.
I have a friend who she knew her dad was going to die and he died still hard, still really hard.
Right.
So that was bad. Another thing that people would sometimes do is, I think people have the best intentions, right? Oh my gosh, your dad's in a better place. Aren't you so glad he's like not in pain? But like, am I not a better place for him? Like, isn't with his family a really good place? Like, I'm just confused now how this all works. You know, I'm trying to grasp like what is going on after this life, you know? That was hard for me when people would say like, you know, like everything happens for a reason. Do not say that. Don't say that. Or some people would honestly try to relate, which some people can relate and it's fine. When people related to me and they would tell me, and I say this with like every little bit of like, I understand this is so hard for some people. When they would say like, I lost my dog or my cat, I get it. Like that's hard. That's hard. That's really hard.
It is.
Know that some people struggle with that. It is not the same. Like you
can't equate it to a parent.
It's not the same as a parent. Yeah. But it was helpful when people said, I lost my dad when I was your age. So I'm like, can't ask them every single question, you know?
Right.
And unfortunately, there are some people that have a pass to ask you these questions, like, how are you? From someone who lost their dad was so different than someone that had not experienced something hard.
That makes sense.
They're like, how are you? I'm like, okay, don't give me those sad eyes.
Sure.
So those were some bad things. There's a lot of other things.
I bet.
Those were great examples of what not to do.
Yes, 100%. And also, bless my wedding photographer's heart. I told her, like, hey, can we reschedule our photos? My dad died. Like, I just need some time to, like, recoup. She's like, totally. So we rescheduled. And then she's like, okay, and then remind me, are y'all doing the daddy-daughter dance? I'm like, Dad died?
No.
No.
But it just shows.
Did you say, like, actually, my dad died? Did she want to then kill herself? Because that's like, I would be so
mortified. Absolutely mortified.
I think my husband said something. I was like, he's like, so
I would retire from photography.
Oh,
that's so bad.
Just gonna moonwalk out of here forever.
Yes,
I'm gonna
use your deposit back.
I'll do your wedding for free now.
Yeah,
I'll do it for free. It really makes you think like, wow, these questions that are very normal, we don't realize how hard they are for some people to hear. Like, what does your dad do for a living?
Totally.
Like, well, he's not living.
Oh, jeez.
You know, like, where do your parents live?
Right.
I'm like, my mom lives here, and my dad, and my cute mom's like, my
doesn't live.
Yeah, my husband's traveling the world, and they're like, oh. She's like, because he's dead. So, yeah.
Oh, I would absolutely say things like that just to make people feel a little bit uncomfortable for even asking. It's hard, right? Because it's like when you meet someone, these are like little questions that you ask and just normal, polite conversation. 100%. And it's like, I don't know. You run the risk, and like so many people have been through something like this. You never know. So I think maybe even just approaching it with the caution of like, you don't need to be like, hey, just checking, are your parents both alive? Like that's also inappropriate as well. But I think just like being aware.
So on the flip side, what are some things that people can or should say to somebody instead of those bad things?
Yeah, I think there's so many good things to say. And I think if you're fearful of reaching out to offend, you really aren't going to offend them. Because let's see, it had been 5 years since I graduated high school. No, actually it's 4. So, you kind of lose touch with those high school friends, and then you were like not really friends with them anymore. And you're like, ooh, I had so many high school buddies reach out to me, and that was really nice. And they would honestly just say like, hey, I just saw that your dad passed away. I am so sorry. I'm thinking of you. And I remember being like, whoa, that's really nice that so-and-so reached out to me, because we haven't talked in 4 years. I had a group of high school girls that we weren't really like friends, but we would say hi to each other in the halls. They all sent me flowers, and they all wrote a little card and said the same thing. Like, I'm so sorry. We're all thinking of you. This must be so hard. It sounds crazy. Like, I remember the people that actually didn't reach out that I thought would reach out. And that was a little bit more hurtful, because I had people that I hadn't talked to, or like an ex-boyfriend that reached out. That was like really just so sweet and so kind of all these people that I'm like, were we friends in high school? But it meant the world. And so always say this. I'm like, when in doubt, just reach out. Like, seriously, just reach out. Send them a text if you just want to send them a text. And I think the best thing to say is, hey, I'm so sorry. I just heard about what happened. You don't need to respond to me, but I just want you to know that I'm thinking of you. Short and sweet, right? Because you've received so many messages, which is so great. If you're a person like me, I got really overwhelmed, and I was like, I need to respond to all these people. Like, they are waiting to hear back from me. But it was comforting to know people were like, you don't need to respond to me ever. Right. I'll just keep reaching out. And do you guys follow Simon Sinek at all?
No,
I don't think so.
Okay. So he talks all about leadership, skills, all these things. But he said something that was so fascinating. I think it was a friend of a friend, where this friend had lost his mom. And he said, hey, I'm so sorry to hear about the loss of your mom. I know this must be so hard. I lost my dad 5 years ago. I'm going to call you every single day at 10 a.m. Don't answer if you don't want to. But when you're ready to answer and you want to talk to someone, I just want you to know I'm here. This went on for like, I think a month or something. And then finally the friend was ready to answer. But like, how comforting it is to know, like, I don't need to answer that, but like, they're thinking of me every single day at 10 a.m. because they know I'm going through something so hard. And I think that is what's so powerful and so meaningful. And I think we kind of hit on it. The world keeps going, even though you're trapped in something so hard.
I love that. Like, that made me tear up a little bit, because it's like, I'm sure it feels so like chaotic and like your world was just turned upside down and like everything is unknown and like, yeah, you're just like so flooded with like responsibilities and emotions and whatever, but to have like a one constant, like I know I'm going to get this phone call at 10 a.m. every single day, whether or not I answer, but like maybe even just like seeing somebody, you know, on the other line, like thinking of them exactly at 10 a.m. every day, like could totally make all the difference. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that. It's a really cool idea. I think we can start going through some of the questions our listeners wrote in. We probably won't get through them all because we have a lot of people. But I can start with one. Someone wanted to know about taking care of yourself. How did you take care of yourself and like manage to eat and like do kind of some of the normal day-to-day things that you need to do in order to keep yourself going?
That like small events become these crazy landmines. Like you just can't figure out how to do them. You're like, wait. Yeah. And some people have a big appetite and that's all they want to do. And then other people don't have an appetite. And I think I was the one that eating, I like didn't have an appetite at all. But like I said, I think the constant of people checking in and having the support system and friendly reminders of like, hey, have you eaten today? Which sounds crazy, but someone can ask you that. Or have you taken a shower? Yeah. So my husband, my fiance at the time, his cousin, like his family, a year before my dad died, their dad had died. What was really nice is his cousins would reach out to me all the time just to normalize the way that I was feeling. Like, hey, it's normal for you to feel this way. It's normal for you to not have an appetite. Hey, it's normal for you to not know how to function today. But I think just little by little, having people check in on you was really helpful. And just trying to realize like, okay, this is not my forever. Like this feels like a forever thing, but I know this can't be the rest of my life. Like I know I can't feel like this forever. Yeah. And trying to have that perspective, it's really hard. It's like, you know, when you get really, really sick and you've never been grateful for your healthy body until you're really, really sick. Yeah. And you're like, have I ever been healthy? Like, have I ever not been sick?
That's such a good example.
It's kind of how that feels, right? You're like, oh my gosh, I've never been healthy. But you remember that you have. And you remember that you felt things and that you felt happy and you felt these emotions. And so it's going to come. Yeah. It's just going to take time and it's just going to take little by little, you know? And not being hard on yourself. I think I remember it had been probably a week and a half and we were driving in the car and we started singing and I started laughing. And I was like, am I allowed to laugh? Am I allowed to feel this? Oh. Yeah. You know, I think we ask ourselves those questions. And I remember even filming myself because I was feeling joy for the first time in a very long time, it felt like. And I remember thinking, I don't know if I'm allowed to feel this type of emotion right now because I've just experienced something hard. And you almost feel like it has to become your personality because if you're happy, people think you're okay, which means they won't check in on you. So you're like, do I have to be sad all the time? So, kind of a roundabout way of answering the question, but I think allowing yourself to feel every emotion and not feeling guilty for any emotion and recognizing it doesn't feel like this forever.
Do you remember a specific time? Like, was it 2 months? Was it 3 months? Like, when did people kind of like stop checking in on you? And how did that sit with you? Were you like, oh man, I guess people aren't checking in to see if I'm okay anymore? And like, did you feel better at that point? Or were you sad that people weren't checking in on you anymore? Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. No, it makes sense. Yeah, I feel like first I was more sad that they weren't checking in on us. The constant check-in was nice and really comforting. There were some people that kept checking in, but most of it had died down. And I would say that was probably he died in May, so probably the next month.
And you're still like wedding planning. You're about to get married. So I'm sure like, I don't even know how to even ask you, like, how did you get through all of that? And like, did you enjoy your day or was it like also super somber? I'm sure like a lot of mixed feelings.
Yeah, it was super bittersweet. But we definitely still enjoyed it the best we could. And my older sister, so I have twins. I have sisters that are twins. They're 5 years older than me. And then I have my oldest sister. She's 7 years older than me. Honestly, I kind of owe it to all of them. They basically just took over and planned my whole wedding because I was just like, oh, like my sister made so many plans. Like, okay, we're going to order this, order this, order this. And then my other sister like picked everything up, and I think, wow, really does take a village when you're going through something hard. But it was beautifully tragic at the same, like so beautiful and so tragic because so many people had known. And I think you think of that day, your parents both being there if you have a good relationship with them and that's what you hope for and want. But, as cheesy as it sounds, I know my dad was there in other ways. And that's helpful for me too, even though I didn't want him to be dead on my wedding day.
Yeah. Not ideal.
Not ideal. Not something you want usually.
No.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. But also at the same time, like maybe he would have still wanted you to continue with the wedding, or I don't know. I would have. Yeah. I would imagine. Well, what did your relationship, how did it change with your fiance when you lost your father and your personality changed and all of a sudden like, and then your fiance is this now support system. And I'm sure you were leaning on him quite a bit. And like, I'm just kind of curious of like relationship dynamics. My ex-husband lost his father, like I mentioned too. So it's like something kind of on my mind, particular even from like, how did your relationship change? Do you have any like marriage advice for something like that? I don't know.
That's a really good question.
Just
Megan.
In general, like coming from like a marriage perspective.
Yeah. Well, all this caveat, I feel like I have the best spouse in the world. Like he understands emotions and he understands, he always gave me grace. It was never like, are you going to be happy again? Like, are you going to like wrap this up? But he has suffered from anxiety and depression and his parents got divorced. And so I'm really so incredibly grateful for him and the way that he allowed me to just feel the way that I was feeling. Yeah. And I remember so many nights of just, laying in bed and honestly crying myself to sleep. Just crying myself to sleep. And he would just be there and hold me. He wouldn't say anything. There was no like, okay, like maybe we should try this. Maybe we should try this. Because I wasn't needing to be fixed. There was nothing that I needed. He didn't need to fix me. He just needed to be there for me. And he was so good at showing up and being there for me every single time. And I always felt like this poor man has married me and I have completely done like a, flip of like, and he obviously is going to stick around. But I think also he knew like, this can't be her forever, But I really think just showing up for your person, you don't even have to fix them. Just holding them and just letting them be in that emotion. And I feel like I think everyone says, oh my gosh, the first year of marriage is so hard. I'm like,
your first marriage.
throwing a dead parent, and that gets it really crazy.
Right at the beginning. That's hard.
I'm like, wow, we had it really. And you guys, get this. It's our first year of marriage. My sister had been married, I think, for a year and a half. And she came to me before we got married, and she's like, hey, I think her husband and I think we're going to move in with mom to help mom with her mortgage. Because my mom's had a mortgage. And I was like, oh, you are? They were living in an apartment. I was like, oh, do you think we should since we don't have an apartment yet? She's like, no, like I'm telling you, like, I think that's what we're going to do. Cause like, we want to help mom pay for the house.
Yeah.
My sweet husband was like, we can move in with your mom. And so we lived with my mom. He is the best person in the whole wide world because who wants to live with their mother-in-law their first year of marriage?
Their grieving mother-in-law who just lost her husband.
Mother-in-law who's just lost their husband with their sad wife. He did. And it was the most healing time though, because he knew that I needed that experience with my mom. I was such a homebody.
Yeah.
And so to have that time with my mom to heal and for him to also just be there for my mom too, you know, like there's things that happen that's like, hey, Coleman, how do I fix the sprinklers? Like, I didn't do that. You know, Daryl did,
right.
her husband. I think that was really comforting for her and for me, you know, and a lot of people would be like, it's so nice you're doing that for your mom. I'm like, honestly, it's for me too.
Yeah.
So I think
That's
looking
really
back,
sweet.
it really has helped our marriage too in the hardest way, but we learned a lot from it.
I bet. I mean, a lot of people say like your partner, you don't really know the hardships, or I don't know the right way to phrase it, but until you go through something really difficult, like losing a family member or whatnot. And that's when you really see how another person is going to show up for you. And like the fact that he was like, there's no rush. I'm just going to be here and hold you and keep showing up and let you like go through what you need to go without being like, okay, when are you going to be happy again? Like that just says so much about who he is as a person. And I could see why that would like make your marriage even better to have gone through something like that. And then, I mean, over time, I'm sure you will have to be there to support him in massive ways as well. And that's what's so beautiful about it is that he, you know, I don't know, that's just a really beautiful partnership. And it sounds like you got a good guy. So.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's the best.
Yeah.
We love that for you.
We have a question. Did losing your father change your personality or who you feel like you kind of are at your core? And if so, how?
Yes. Okay. So that's why I started Grief Shine, because I feel like I was the type of person, and I still feel this way. I'm like bubbly, energetic, excited, happy. I love to get to know people, personable. I'm like all these things. And all of a sudden, I had never felt, you know, when people are like, I have depression. I'm like, what is that? Like, what? How are people depressed? I never understood it. Then I understood it because I experienced this level of deep sadness and deep pain and depression, right? Of not being able to get up, not being able to eat, not being able to shower, you know, napping during the day. I like don't nap. That's something I started doing because I just physically couldn't take care of my body. So I feel like it's definitely changed my personality in a little bit because now I have deeper relationships with people that I probably would have never had, and deeper better understandings when people share hardship with me. When you haven't experienced it, when you're not a part of this hard club, you're like, oh, I'm so sorry. That sucks. Anyway, so tonight, you know, but now I feel like I have a deeper understanding, and that's how it's kind of changed my personality. So I look at it in the best way possible of, okay, when I get mad at my husband for something so silly, I realize like, this is so dumb because like you could lose someone in a second. Like you don't realize when is the last time you are actually going to see your person, right?
Right.
I actually didn't say goodbye to my dad that morning. Like I just like left the house. And so when people are like, hug your people, I'm like, no, really? Hug your people because you don't understand and you don't realize like, when is it going to be your last conversation with them? It's changed my personality in some ways. I'm still excited. I'm still happy, but I feel like I am that like happy, sad friend where I'm like, I can be happy, but I can also talk about the hard things with you. And we can go from like two ends of the spectrum pretty quickly within a like 30-minute conversation. When I never really did that, you know?
Yeah, that's a great insight.
Okay. I think for this question, they're wondering about like physical memories of your dad, like pictures or like videos or things like that. Have you revisited those memories of your dad? And if so, how do you process or keep them?
We share memories of him all the time. So something that I do, this is really helpful. Now that I'm 8 years in, I think things start to blur and you're like, did that happen? I have a Google Doc that's just titled Dad Memories. And so whenever I have a memory of him, I write it down there to try to remember.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's cute.
So that's helpful for me. Because I want to be able to share who he was too, like to my future kids and what he was like and share stories. And I want to make sure I'm not just making them up.
Another kind of a similar question is, do you like it when people ask you questions about your dad and be like, tell me about a time when this, or do you like, what's your favorite memory? What was his personality like? Or is like, some people are worried if that's like not helpful or going to bring up like bad memories or trigger some sort of like negative emotion.
No, I love it. Yeah. And here's why. I'll tell you why. Because I have said this in my head. I'm like, you're not going to remind me of something I think about all the time. Because I think people are like, oh, I don't want to like bring up this hard thing that she experienced, like to remind her of her dad. It's like, we're not reminding me of it because like I actually think about it every day. So I love when people are like, what was your dad like? I'm like, oh my gosh, I would love to talk about my dad and like tell you what he was like. Yeah. You know, or can you share this memory of him? I'm like, of course, I'd love to tell you. I think that's really meaningful when people ask those questions because you can see they actually care and they want to get to know you and what your relationship was like with your person.
On that note, would you mind sharing a little bit more about what your dad was like? And maybe like, I know you had mentioned that like, you were starting to get along a lot better in the last year that he was alive, but then you like kind of butted heads in some ways. But like, what are some of your like favorite memories of your dad? What did you love about him and what was his personality like?
Yeah, my dad was super goofy, but also a very deep and critical thinker. So his whole theme of my whole childhood was this Stephen Covey quote, which is seek first to understand, then to be understood. So that was kind of our upbringing. And then another one of his quotes to explain who he was, he would say this to us all the time. It was, lack of preparation on your part does not make it an emergency on mine. And it sounds kind of sassy, but I actually really love it because it has taught me a lot, right? Like just because we are experiencing something like stressful and hard and it's kind of our fault, you know, like, can you help me with this? It's like, hey, that just because that's a lack of preparation of you does not make an emergency for me to hurry and like help you and solve these problems and fix it for you. So that kind of explains
healthy boundaries for sure.
Right? How many bosses do you want to say that to? I don't know. Maybe every boss.
Yeah.
Sincerely. I hope this email finds you well. Yeah.
But I think those kind of explain a little bit about him. He was loud. Also, he loved having all girls. So he loved having just daughters. Aww. That was like something that he always said he loved. And I would ask him all the time, like, are you sad you never had a son? Like, are you sad? And he's like, no, I would have never known how to raise a boy. He's like, that would have been so hard for me, which was just like so comforting. But because I come from an all-girl family, we had to mow the lawn. We had to like fix the fence. We had to do all of the dirty too, you know? We had to take out the garbage. When my husband were at his mom's house, she's like, will you take out the garbage? I'm like, I could. I know I'm a girl, but I can do it. But that's different how we were raised, you know? So I really feel like he raised us to be strong, powerful women, which was so great. And another thing about him that I always loved about his parenting was he told my mom, and he told us this, that, you know, when you're raising children, they're your they are your peers for much longer than they are your children, which created a really great adult relationship between us, if that makes sense. Yeah. Because when I was older, I always felt like I was treated like an adult, even though I'm like 17, 18, 19 years old. You know, I feel like you're a teenager when you're 15. But I feel like he really tried to treat us like adults, which was really helpful for our upbringing. And my dad, I mean, this is also common, but I think, you know, people love to travel. My dad loved to travel. And he ended up working for Delta, clean airplanes, just so he could fly standby and fly anywhere.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's so there were so many times when he worked like part-time job there, right? Just cleaning airplanes so he could fly for free. And I have memories of him coming home being like, hey, I'm like, hey, what's up? Can you take me to the airport tomorrow at 5 a.m? I'm going to Peru. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, mom's out of town this week. She's on a work trip and I'm just going to go to Peru. I'm like, sure. Well, sure. I'll take you to the airport.
You're right.
But like that was so him, you know, like he loved solo trips because he's like, I always feel so rejuvenated after a trip by myself.
Yeah.
And I think that's so fun to look back. And he wanted to start this tradition, you know, coming from an all-girl family. He's like, how about this? Mom and I are going to always go out of town for Thanksgiving. And that way you guys can always be with your in-laws on Thanksgiving. And we were like, no, please fight for us. Please.
That's so funny. Did they do that? Like they always been out of town?
There were, I mean, unfortunately he passed away, but there were 2 years in a row. They went to the Philippines one year. And then the next year they're like, we're going to go Thailand, Tokyo, Cambodia. I'm like,
wow.
Oh but that was cool.
With you.
Yeah.
No, please choose us. I'm like, let us switch off years. I don't want every year with them.
Yeah. Did you ever get to go on any of those trips with him? Like when he impulsively went somewhere?
No, but my dad served a mission for our church in Peru. And that was when he was 19. So years and years ago. So it had been his lifelong goal to take us all to Peru when we got married. That didn't happen because he died. But we went to Peru as a family the year after he died. 1 year. So it was his 1 year anniversary. We did a 5-day trek. We spread his ashes there. And it was so awesome. And like the best way to celebrate him, you know? Yeah. So that's a little bit about him.
I love that.
I love that you asked that, Meg. That was really good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that about him. I feel like I have a really good picture of who your dad was.
Goofball too. Just a goofball.
I love that.
Kind of Rachel and I, we're cousins. Our dads are brothers, but our dads are both major goofballs too. And I definitely could pick up on some similarities to my dad, even when you're just describing him. I feel like they could be friends.
Yeah.
Of course. Right before this, you had mentioned that you needed to feed your infant daughter. I can't remember. Boy. Is it your son? Boy? Okay, you had a boy and your parents had 4 girls. What has that been like? Just your pregnancy? Was this your first child? Yep. Okay. So what has that been like, kind of just like in light of losing your father, like having a baby at the first time, like had that really brought up a lot of negative, positive emotions? Like, tell me a little bit more about that.
I have shared this, and I think for me, it's been so awesome. And I wish my dad were here to experience it. And, you know, I'm obviously sad because I'm like, oh, I wish he could have this like relationship with my baby, you know? And I wonder if it'll get harder when my son starts to get older and talk and move, you know? For some reason, when my older sister had her son a year after our dad died, I think that one was harder because it was the first grandchild, right? And my dad wasn't there for the first grandchild. Still really hard. I'm not trying to say like, oh, mine's been totally fine. That was really hard because you're like, oh, I wish dad were here. Again, everything that's so crazy is every event that happens in your life, holidays, birthdays, having a baby, they're all pierced with a little bit of sadness. These events that are supposed to be so happy, you're like, oh, you know, like, wait, like something's missing. And it's your person that's passed away. And I think that's the best way to describe it. Like something so joyful is always just a little bit sad.
Sorry,
beautiful. Sad girl.
Yeah. No, it's always going to be like that for like, but it's still like that. It's still beautiful at the same time. It's like, that's kind of life. Like there really is no joy without grief and grief without joy. And that's why I think your channel, even the name Grief Shine, is so impactful because that's just really what it is.
The dichotomy.
Because you can be sad, but you can
Traumedy.
Exactly. You can be sad, but you can also still shine at the same time.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
There's a question I'm looking at up here that I think is a good segue from that into this. They want to know, how do you deal with a grief that never goes away?
I think honestly leaning into it. You know, because you have to realize, like, okay, like the question says, this grief will never go away. And if you avoid, I think it takes over. But I think once you realize, okay, this is going to be a part of me, it doesn't have to define me. It doesn't have to be my personality. I don't have to say like, hi, my name's Alexa. My dad died, so I'm sad. But it is so much part of me, right? And once you lean into it, I think you gain a relationship with understanding it at its deeper level and realizing like, okay, this doesn't have to be every single day, but I can learn to have joy and sadness, because without sadness, there's no joy. Without joy, there's no sadness. So learning that good and bad is just part of life. I'm grateful, and I never thought I would ever come to this point, but I really am so grateful for my grief, because it's taught me that I had someone so important in my life it hurts to miss them. But I'm grateful to feel that pain, because it means that I love my dad so much. And I think that's a beautiful thing, right? Like, oh, people go through hard things, divorce. And I don't think you can, I don't know. Some people have told me like, honestly, I think death is a little bit easier, because divorce is so messy and so hard from what I've heard. Megan, I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily recommend.
0 out of 10 would recommend.
Not fun.
A lot of people had told my mom this, like, honestly, divorce is worse than death. And my mom was like, what? That's crazy to say. But she's like, no, I get it. Because my mom will say to this day, people ask her, like, are you going to get remarried? She's like, I actually still feel married, because I love my husband so much. You know, even though he's not here, I still feel married.
Yeah.
And so, embracing it and leaning into it and realizing that.
That was beautiful.
Such a beautiful answer. Anything else that you want to say, Alexa?
Yeah, I think just be patient and be kind to yourself. You know, you don't have to, you're not going to be who you were. And that's the point of it. You know, you're going to be different. And I think that's okay. Because you're growing.
That is okay.
And I think I want to take this time again to plug your account, Alexa. If you want to share a little bit more about Grief Shine, I know you have a website, you have the Instagram account, just like where they can follow you and what your account is like.
Yes. Okay. At Grief Shine, because we're sad and happy at the same time. So we're shining and we're sad, and that's okay. And honestly, it's just a good community. I share fun quotes on there about grief and about healing and about my journey. And then I love making videos. I think it's so fun. I love creating videos that make sense.
Yeah.
And I think some of them are dark humor. Some of them are, you know, just a good find. So, and then I'm trying to create with my cute husband. He's the designer of us. Just some like fun merch, I guess you could say, to all the fellow grieving people out there. So we're just in the growing phase. We're just trying to figure it out. But you can go onto my website. It's just griefshine.com. So go check it out. And my ultimate goal is just to create a place where people can come and figure out what to buy someone that's grieving. Because I think that's the biggest and
that's really sweet.
People are like, what do I give someone that's going through a hard time? So I have a list of like, here's some grief gifts to get someone, but hopefully eventually that's what we'll have on there.
That's so true. That. Honestly, the amount of times I've gone on Amazon and been like, grieving gift, like candle, like what do I do? Yeah.
Right.
So I love that idea. Honestly, that's great.
So that's kind of the goal, but follow me if you want. It'll be a fun time. We can be friends and you can have a good grief community on there.
I love it.
Cute.
Oh, I wish you lived closer. I would absolutely, I feel like I want to like go have a game night with you and your husband or something. Like you guys seem so cool.
I'm going to send you one of his videos and you'll be like, wait, we should hang out when
please.
Oh my God. Wait. Can you tell, we didn't go over that when we were actually recording. Can you explain why you have a professional microphone for this podcast?
Yes. Okay. I have a professional microphone. It's because my husband is a professional noisemaker, and he can make lots of crazy noises, and he can whistle like a bird. And it's when you hear that, when you hear what I'm saying, you're like, I can whistle like a bird. Like, no. When you hear his whistle, you'll be like, oh my gosh.
That's a whistle.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And you said he was on the Jimmy Fallon show a couple years ago?
Guys, my claim to fame, my husband was on Jimmy Fallon. Not me. He was.
Yeah.
Got me on the show, though. I could sit in the show. I watched the audience, and I was like, oh no, what are the odds Coleman forgets how to whistle while he's on stage?
Oh, God.
Like, oh my gosh.
He didn't. But I was like, what are the odds? He just like all of a sudden like is mute. I'm like, oh.
He loses his ability.
You're like more stressed out than he is.
Yes.
Oh, I love it.
He shook hands with Jimmy Fallon, so basically we're pretty popular.
I like kind of actually want to end this episode with a like clip of him whistling or something because like that would be.
I mean,
we can maybe superimpose it. We can add it later or something. But like
you should be like, and then
we're gonna end on a high note, and by high note I mean.
I'm serious. I'll send you a handle. He's probably going to be like, why? I'm like, because it's so cool.
Because it's important.
This is important.
On a high note.
This is a part of your grief journey.
Jimmy Fallon, babe.
Well, and he's really good at impersonations. So that's really fun too.
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
He's so like a blast.
With you.
Just a well-rounded guy. He can do it all. He can support you in your grief journey, and he can whistle like a bird while he does it. He has some quirky
things about him too, don't we all?
And he's tech savvy. He came in and fixed the whole setup. We love it.
We're big Coleman fans. Yeah. Set up the microphone.
Okay, so awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Alexa. That was so awesome and enlightening, and just like a subject we haven't touched on yet. Like so many people right now are grieving like a loved one. So I think this will be just really, really helpful for our listeners. So thank you so much for that.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.